Hey, what's going on? I'm gonna do another late night beer review. This one's gonna be on Bass Ale, but this is the Bass Ale. This is the Bass Ale I was talking about a few months back. I'm a big fan of the imported English Bass Ale. That was the Bass Ale that was loved by Napoleon, Mark Twain, Wild Bill Cody. It's more of a heady beer, and I don't mean heady like it's got a good head on it. It's just more of a body buzz that you don't find in this one that's brewed in the United States. Why that is, I have no idea. I'll read what it says in the bottle here. It differs from the English version of it, and I understand they're brewing it here to cut the cost of importing it. And the beer itself is not a bad beer. It just has a different characteristic, and I always say this. I'm always saying something. Beer characteristics are formed by the water that the beer is made with, and this beer picks up upstate New York water to it, because a lot of the beers are brewed up around here are brewed upstate New York, where they have great water, and I'm sure that's probably why they put the brewery there. So this one differs from the original Bass label, and at first glance it looks just like the other one, but the bottle's a little cheaper, and I don't think that makes any difference. But the wording and the verbiage in the label are very different. If you weren't paying attention, you would think it was Bass Ale, but when you tasted it, it would taste more like a Sierra Nevada Pale Ale. I think that would be the closest I could put it. It says the world's finest pale ale, brewed by William and Bass and Company, Baldwinsville, New York. This fine pale ale has been brewed in the Great British tradition, which means, you know, they supervise it, using the finest two-row malted barley, originally brewed in 1877 by William Bass Brewers Limited, Burton-on-Trent, England. And now in the back it says iconology, whatever the hell it says. As Bass Ale's popularity grew, unscrupulous imitations tried to pass it off as let me start that again. As Bass Ale's popularity grew, unscrupulous imitations tried to pass off inferior products as Bass by copying the unique red triangle logo. In 1875, concerned for their reputation of their beloved brew, Bass brewers applied for and were granted the first registered trademark. Now, that's funny how it says that, because this kind of goes against that, because it's impersonating real Bass Ale. It's not. I mean, it's not real Bass Ale. There's just no way of getting around that. It's not true. This is not the same brew that is brewed in England. I know that to be a fact. So let's go ahead and try it. I'm not saying it's a bad beer, but it's an imposter. It's not true Bass Ale. It would be different if it was, like they said, something of poor quality. No, it's not of poor quality, but it's not a Bass Ale. It all looks the same. The color looks the same. The head looks the same. But it's got a very different smell to it. More of a yeasty smell. But I can't say, like I said, I can't say it's not a bad beer. It's not a horrible beer. But it's not in the same leagues as true Bass Ale. that's just not it, man. Actually, what Anheuser-Busch is putting out with their pale ale, is out of the box, excellent, man, and blows this away. And hats off to Anheuser-Busch for going ahead and doing their Amber American Ale. Fantastic beer. I really like it. And this is coming in a cheap second, and it is at a premium price. It's almost as much as the imported. I think it's $1.75 less. I'd pay the $1.75 to truly have the Bass. And you gotta watch it, man, because the packaging looks exactly the same. The 6-pack looks exactly the same. If you weren't paying attention and you really didn't look at it, but it says right there, product USA. But I can't say it's a horrible beer. It's a very good beer. And I'm actually enjoying it now, but you can't pass it off as true Bass Ale. So would I recommend it? Sure, I'd recommend it. It's a great beer, but it's not an awesome beer. I think a lot of the beers that I do in these reviews, I just, in my mind, believe they're awesome. This isn't one of them. But what I do notice is they have gotten better in the past year. When I originally tried it, I was given 11 cases of Bass Ale for something I did for somebody, and I was so excited about it. And I chilled up a case of beer, I put it in the fridge, and then I said, that's probably enough. I chilled up another case of beer, and I invited a few friends over, and we started popping Bass Ales. Great conversation comes from popping Bass Ales. Can you imagine the conversations that were done over drinking Bass Ale from the 1700s? Jeez, I can't even imagine. This was the beer of revolution, and this is not the beer of revolution. I think this is the beer that could start a revolution. My first sip, I was like, maybe could be. I didn't know what the hell was going on. It wasn't Bass. And then I had another one, and I was just like, maybe it's just me. And then I read the label, and I read the label closely, and it wasn't true Bass Ale. If you want true Bass Ale, just like Napoleon drank, you get it from England. And England and Ireland, they make fantastic beers. There's fantastic beers all around the world. And I'm not going to talk trash about it and say it's a horrible beer. It's an excellent beer. But it's not up to par with putting this logo on it. Now, when you start to Americanize beers, or you try and put something in a European style and it's made in America, sometimes it doesn't work out, But I'm sure they're not going to change it. So if you're in the store and you're looking for a fine ale, it will be true Bass Ale from England. There's no substitute. They can make it look like it and deceive you, but it's not the same. Later.